The track has been cleared, and in the background you can hear the unmistakable sounds of some very, very classic machinery taken to the track here at Knockhill. Then we're about to go racing here for our what looks like rough maths, probably about 12th race of the day. As I said, we've got 4 races left to go. We've got the Fiesta ST Cup after this, the Mini Cooper Cup, and the Scottish Legends Car Cup Championship is going to be out today. But it is the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloons Championship, supported by the Edinburgh Watch Company, as the marshals away out onto track to get everybody ready to go for this one. So let's have a quick look at the grid then for the race upcoming then. John Kinman's in pole position alongside Kenny Brown. Row 2 on 3rd position is going to be Charlie Cope in that Golf alongside Mario Ferrari. I'm going to scrub that because literally as soon as the words left my mouth there, I just remembered exactly what Malcolm has said. So there's going to be a hole where that 4th place should be. Andrew Kinman is going to take 5th position. Adam Kinman is going to take 6th place, and Nicky Dixon up into P7. Jimmy Crow is going to start on row 4 in P8. Row 5 is going to be Craig Houston alongside Ian Mitchell. Row 6 is going to be Ewan Anderson alongside Colin Calder. Paul Bowers alongside Ian Morton, and Duncan O'Neill at the back of the grids in row 8 with David Riley in, again, alongside the Novas. One of the most recognisable cars, I would say, for the general population, the Ford Fiesta XR2.
Yeah, very recognisable. And speaking to Duncan during the lunch break, he has a new driver planned for next season, so he's intending that there will be 3 cars as part of his team next season. And as with so many things, depending on budget, maybe even a 4th as well. So he's continuing to be the stalwart and supports these cars and anyone who has an interest in them.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see this. It's like these one-man army affairs, and we've seen it before in Scottish motorsport with the likes of the Formula Ford 1600s. Graham Brunton was such a central figure of that entire championship. With the XR2s, keeping that name alive single-handedly. XR2s here in Scotland was one of the biggest championships here in the SMRC, and obviously times change and the cars change as well. And great to see that name still being live. And in fact, well, we've got David Taylor here. Actually, I'm just reminded of the fact that he used to actually race an XR2 as well. So, yeah, great memories on that one. However, times change, but thankfully we can always look back to the past with the likes of our Scottish Classic Sports and Saloons Championship, supported by the Edinburgh Watch Company. The cars getting themselves onto the grid. The XR2s just a little bit further up there, and we are ready to go racing. The rain's starting to really fall now, and I definitely don't envy being up in that 173 of Kenneth Brown. The green flag flies here, the 1 minute board held out, and we are getting ready for just our 4th race left to go here at Knockhill. We hope you've had a fantastic afternoon watching on the SMRC YouTube channel. John Kinmans will lead things off with Kenny Brown on that front row here, and we get ready to go racing. Just doing some final checks, and the marshals will clear the grids, and the lights are about to come on very, very shortly. And of course the TVR is going to be looking to try and get a good jump over John Kinman, but I'm wondering, from experience, John Kinman's in that Rover really has some fun times in the wet. But the red lights are on. The red lights are off, and it's a great start for John Kinman's in that Rover. He absolutely flies away from the start here in these tricky, treacherous, damp conditions here at Knockhill. So it's down to Duff Step for the first time, and it's a country mile that he's got off. As you can see in the background there, Charlie Cope with an outrageously good start in that TVR. It's safe to say is going to be a little bit delicate around here. We saw this in race 1. Takes a little while to get the tyres warmed up there. 91 there, spun round. Craig Houston sat in the middle of the track, and thankfully, unlike C1s, everybody manages to navigate that car quite successfully.
Yeah, hopefully there's no damage to his car there. Doesn't look like it from what we've seen round there.
I think the exhaust is hanging off of that car there. I just saw something trailing in the centre, but it looked towards the rear of the car there, so it shouldn't affect it.
Yeah, he maybe took to the gravel, may have to retire because of that. But thankfully it appears that the car structurally is in good order. I hope that is when we get a chance to view it all. As we see 62 Andrew Kinman, 4th place, with his nephew Adam Kinman, 64 in the Rover Vitesse, coming in behind him. Excellent progress from them, but meanwhile John Kinman leads the way from Charlie Cope and the 173 TVR in blue there. You see of Kenny Brown struggling a little for grip, and the others progress with just coming into the picture there behind the 64 Rover a moment ago, and again now is Jimmy Crow in the white Escort number 21. So beginning to stretch out amongst them, and continuing on their way. Adam Kinman will be getting slightly closer to the TVR in front of him.
Yep, certainly is, and again you can see it's a little bit more of a gingerly affair for a lot of these cars. They're really being very, very delicate, and you can understand why. They're a lot of money, a lot of pride into these machines. They'll be pushing them as hard as they can, but while keeping them very, very safe as they possibly can. However, John Kinman is predictably off like a rocket, however not as fast as he was in race 1, and Charlie Cope doing a grand job in there in 2nd place there, just a second off of the pace. And given the size difference, Malcolm, that's unreal, is it?
Yeah, it is indeed. And as we just look on screen there, we saw number 11 Ian Mitchell, followed by 55 Colin Calder and 69 Nicky Dixon, and the recovering Craig Houston there with Ian Morton in the Osney 40. And there is that same group of cars again, with the 2 Class A cars. In screen first of them is 71, that's the Fiat 128 Coupe of Paul Bowers, and behind him Ian Morton, number 40, the longest standing competitor of Scottish classic sports and saloons, 15 years on or more from when he started. Action heating up in front too, with the 3 Lotus members all together. That's Nicky Dixon in the Captina first of all, 69, and Craig Houston in the Estelle Excel, should I say, coming through ahead of Colin Calder in the brown Lotus Elan. So good to see that Craig Houston's race is recovering from that earlier off. And
I don't think it is actually his exhaust hanging off. I think it's the tag from the tow strap at the back of the car that's just dangling down on their one. So panic averted from that. You can see the Vauxhall Nova of Ian Mitchell coming down the hill there, and that was a great move that we saw last lap round from Nicky Dixon, taking that position from Craig Houston and Colin Calder. And again, I mean, I'm not massively in terms of educated on my my historical cars, but always got a soft spot for Lotus. They just that boxy design, that very aggressive 80s sports car shape is just it's an absolute joy to behold.
Yeah, very stylish. A wedge shape of its period, and well developed by Craig Houston, with a lot of engineering of his and his father's efforts having gone on to in the last few years, and very much a case of input and commitment from family to run a car on a budget. It's not as perhaps large as others, and John Kinman's front offside is now
It's off.
Appears as if the tyre is rubbing against the wheel arch, so either he's hit something or the tyre itself has had a problem that's causing it.
Oh, it's done. The entire steering frame on that front right is wobbling about as he was turning there. You saw that the entire arch, the wheel had just popped right down. So John Kinman has obviously popped something on that front right there, Malcolm, and that is going to be a retirement.
Yeah, sadly, retirement for John. Whether he's clipped something on the way round and it's caused a problem, or in turn something has undone itself to cause that, which means Cope in the Golf number 4 continues in the lead with Brown in the TVR 173 making up ground now, which he wasn't earlier, but again the grip that Brown's maybe finding now is greater than he was before, and he's lapping about a second a lap faster than the number 4 Golf of Cope in front.
This is a proper David versus Goliath story going on right now. The plucky little Volkswagen Golf GTI of Charlie Cope. Surely it's going to be no match for Kenny Brown in a straight line, and look at how much Brown closing down on that little Golf. But again, it's all going to be down into the corners here. In fact, there it goes roaring by. In fact, I'm pretty sure I just saw Charlie Cope with a hand out the window there saying, yeah, you just pop by that way, fella. Yeah,
it's a gesture that shows there's no doubt in the mind of Kenny Brown that he has clear passage to go around, and Charlie Cope's not going to hold somebody up, and Charlie Cope struggling himself a bit for grip there, so let's hope that he continues to race at a pace and not be affected as John Kinman was. So yep, the Kinman family remain in 3rd and 4th places. That's Andrew in the orange TVR number 62, and Adam in the Rover Vitesse 64, with Jimmy Crow and Craig Houston completing the top 6.
Just having a return to the thought of John Kinman there. I'm wondering actually if he's clattered the curbs on the right hand side when coming up through the chicane, because that's where we cut to seeing him, and I'm wondering if there was an audible snap on the car, which is why we cut to that shot there.
Maybe this is Ewan Anderson. That's 115 in the BMW 2002, just ahead of Ian Morton again, number 40, as Brown approaches them with his weather shield still doing its job a little to protect him from the elements, and yeah, he was over 3 seconds ahead of Charlie Cope at the start of that last lap, so no real pressure for him there as he comes out of Clark with the Golf and the Fiesta of Duncan O'Neill coming into view at the rear of the picture there.
Just watching as Charlie Cope makes his way through. Ooh, that was a little bit scary. Obviously unsighted by the 115 just up in front. That is of course Ewan Anderson, but thankfully now Charlie Cope gets rocketing by in that Volkswagen Polo. 4 laps left to go in this final race of the afternoon for the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloons, supported by the Edinburgh Watch Company, and it is still Kenny Brown in the lead of the race here, that you can see in the TVR. Griffith making his way around with Charlie Cope in 2nd place and Andrew Kinman in 3rd place in that TVR Vixen. And again, Malcolm, we've spoken about him quite a lot so far, but Andrew Kinman's a very, very impressive debut so far, and I think it's safe to say a very, very expensive hobby this is going to be.
Well, it's expensive up to a point of the budget. The one thing with the TVR is, in Andrew's case and others of his family, they do a lot of the work themselves, and the Vixen lends itself to maintenance in some ways in these older cars, perhaps more than more expensive ones would. That combined with the Triumph power unit hopefully provides them with a reliable and cost-effective car that we look forward to seeing next season. And on screen at the moment, that's David Riley, and behind him we see again Kenny Brown as he comes round to continue his charge at the front of the race, just taking it easily through the dip there, and away he goes again with 3 laps to go, comfortably placed with a 6-second lead at the start there. Still some close action coming behind, with Craig Houston having recovered well to have passed the Nova, Cortina and Escort now. He's only 4 seconds or so behind Adam Kinmond in the Rover in 4th place. That's Brown over the line, and 2 laps to go now as 173 TVR passes the 2nd place. We see now that's Charlie Cope's White Golf, followed by Paul Bowers, Colin Calder and David Riley, and then Ewan Anderson's very smart BMW 2002. But, yeah, a nice run round there for Paul Bowers again, 71, the very impressive the prepared Fiat. Coming up behind the 2nd place Volkswagen Golf with Calder's Milan number 55 in the rear of that shot. And as we move along a little, Kenny Brown this time has Ian Mitchell for company in the number 11 Vauxhall Nova, a car that's been seen here on track racing at Knockhill, and former multiple hill climb event car with and previous circuit racing car with many owners, and a history that can be traced back decades prior to Ian Mitchell competing in it.
Last lap board held out then, and this is it for Kenny Brown. This is going to be the final time around for the 2022 season, and a chance for Charlie Cope to actually enjoy himself going round here as the champion-elect, going round just now in 2nd place. Andrew Kinman's in 3rd place just now, but through Clark for the final time then. It's been another very, very strong performance for the TVR Griffith in C-Class for Kenny Brown. D-Class is going to go to Adam Kinmans, and the A-Class is going to go to Ian Mitchell as well. B-Class, as I said, will be Andrew Kinmans. But out the final corner then, to take their win for the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloons, Kenny Brown crosses the line in his TVR Griffith. The arm punching the air in delight. Charlie Cope is going to come across as your season champion overall, and going to come across the line in 2nd place there. 3rd place is going to be Andrew Kinmans in the TVR Vixen, and a very, very well deserved end to the season for the entire Sports and Saloons paddock.
The competition continues right to the last corner, with Ian Morton's A40 pursued by Duncan O'Neill's XR2 for the line, and Morton just gets ahead by a car length.
Great job there, down in 12th, 13th and 14th position. Almost a photo finish between the XR2s there, between Duncan O'Neill and David O'Reilly. So that is the final Classic Sports and Saloons race of 2022. Dusted, a huge thank you to Malcolm Smith for his efforts this season. It's been absolutely invaluable having you along, Malcolm. Thank you so much for your company this season.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed it. It's great to be a small part of what goes on here, and look forward to hopefully something the same next year.
Excellent
Thank you.
stuff. Thank you very much then to Malcolm Smith for joining us, and actually being somebody that knew what they were talking about for a change here in the commentary box. So very, very welcome to have him here this season. Big, huge kick of the TVR comes out the final corner. It's safe to say that our race winner is very, very happy about that. Kenny Brown comes across the line and goes into pit lane. A very happy man indeed. I think Charlie Cope will be delighted taking that 2nd place in the Volkswagen Golf as well. But the sun sets on the SMRC Classic Sports and Saloons, supported by the Edinburgh Watch Company. So the cars heading their way into the holding area, and if I get my binoculars out, I can see Andy Alston waiting very patiently with the cameraman Ants waiting in the wings, and they'll be having a chat with Kenny Brown, possibly with Charlie Cope and Andrew Kinmans, as well as maybe Adam Kinmans and maybe Ian Mitchell. So many classes in this this particular series, and they are very, very happy indeed. So without further ado then, the cars making their way into the paddock. Let's hand it over to our very, very good friend Andy Elston.
Yes, Dave, great action as usual here in the Legends, and it's this fabulous TVR. Kenneth Brown leading the way in the 173. Very strong meeting for him, and he'll be delighted to sign off his season in style with a very strong performance into the bargain. Joins us now. Many congratulations, a great drive out there from you.
Very much.
How do you feel after that one?
Fantastic. The car was slippy when we went out, and I took it canny just to see, and then I started pulling the Golf in, and then we saw John on the right obviously having trouble, but you've just got to keep focused and press on really, really hard, and it's sketchy out there with the oil and that sort of thing, so I'm delighted with what's happened today. It's been a dream come true.
Great stuff, many congratulations, well done. Yeah, and just it's interesting, we just note there, just feels the spits of rain coming down now, and that is going to be very interesting for the Fiestas, which will take to the track in a few moments' time. So we are seeing the weather just beginning to come into contention here for the final couple of races later this afternoon. And I'm just going to grab a quick chat with Duncan O'Neill in the XR2 category and get his thoughts on the season overall. Taking the win in his class, we'll catch up with him, get his thoughts on how 2022 has gone overall as he just gets out of the car now and joins us now. There he is, Mr. O'Neill. That was good fun,
The rain came on just near the end there, but the track was still alright for being aisle everywhere. We still get around everybody. Stayed on pretty good, so that was good again.
And when you look at the kind of championship overall this year and just how everything's gone throughout the course of 2022, what's your kind of, how do you sum up your thoughts?
Well, I maybe change class next year. Still in an XR2, maybe do that, because my pal's coming out and hopefully my daughter will come out next year and they'll keep that, and Dave's obviously still here, so I maybe let them have a shot and I'll get into something else, get into Class B, I think. I'll see what happens.
Interesting. Great to see these cars out there on the track and looking in great condition as well.
They're still on one pace. Saying that, I'll probably get about 15 of them left in the yard, but they're still pretty good and solid. And it's all the good ones that are left, the ones that are just raced at Knockhill.
So what's the kind of plans in the off-season then? How do you kind of get these cars prepped for 2023? What's the kind of work involved?
Just check everything on them. Full MOT spec this time. Any rotten bits, cut them out, get them all ready, park them up in the garage and leave them next season. That's the plan anyhow, so hopefully goes well. We'll see.
Great stuff, many congratulations. Very well done.
Yeah.